Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. We are continuing with the alternate cards for the November 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit today. I am going to make a bookbinding card today. I am using the Joy die cut from the Abundant Joy Dies add-on set, and I've cut that out of one of these tags. I've got this tag here, but you'll notice that I've cut it down. So I cut it down so that it kind of fits better with what my idea is. And then I used my retired corner rounder punch just to re-round those corners. I'm using one of the wreaths from the set. And I've cut another one of the banners down this is a 1 inch by 4 1/4. 1 inch by 4. This is 1 inch by 4. And to make the bookbinding card, I've taken my 8.5 by 11 and I've cut it at 4 1/4. And then I've scored it at 5 1/2. So that would be just a normal side opening card. So let's just give that a bit of a push. And then I've scored it again at 4 1/4 this way. So what we end up with is a square piece in the middle here. So first thing I'm going to do is, whoops, I'm going to make a bunch of noise. I'm going to adhere this down. Okay, so this creates kind of the bookbinding piece. And then I'm going to take this piece, which again is 1 by 4, because this space is 1 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm just going to adhere this down. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do some work on the front of the card. So I'm just going to pop that down like that. Okay. I also have the stamp from the Christmas Greenery set. This is Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to stamp in Old Olive on it. And I'm just going to create a little bit of interest on the front of the card by just stamping like this, and then like this, and then again, and this way, like this. And I'm not too worried about the overlap in the middle, because that's where my all my work is going to go. Okay, I actually still need this. I'm going to use the From Our Home to Yours stamp. I'm going to ink that up really well. And then I'm just going to stamp it right down in the bottom edge of the tag. Okay, so now I'm done with that. And I'm not quite finished with my Old Olive ink, because what I want to do, now that I've got this stamped, is I'm going to take my Christmas Greenery stamp and I'm going to stamp it across like that. And I'm just going to push in the middle to make sure that I've got good coverage there. So that's added a little bit of interest to that tag. I thought it was really quite plain otherwise. So I can show you the difference like this or like this. And we are, of course, going to be adding the detail of this piece. So what I'm going to do is I am going to dimensionalize this onto the front of the card, and then I'm going to build from there. So I'm just going to put kind of 4 dimensionals on here like this, and then we'll peel those backs off, and make sure we've put this the right way up. And this is going to sit right in the middle here, like this. So the front here is echoing the design in the back, and it's just lifted that up a little bit. Instead of it being plain, I didn't need to use an embossing folder. I just used a stamp. And again, it's from the Christmas Greenery set. Now, this is where my world gets a little bit tricky, because I want to dimensionalize this. So I'm going to use the small dimensionals. So I am absolutely double dimensionaling this. But I don't want this to be kind of floating around in space. So I'm going to take one of the mini dimensionals and I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to cut a small piece of it off. You can also do this if you've got dimensional strips. You can do the same thing and just cut a little piece of the dimensional strip off. And I'm just going to pop this down on the top of this Y, just like that, and then peel the backing off. There we go. Okay. And this just does not want to lay down. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to dimensionalize this. But before I do that, I need to add my wreath in. And I'm going to pop my wreath down like this. So I need to add a couple of adhesive dots to this. Probably the easiest way to mount these is with the adhesive dots. So I'm going to put one, if this is going to go like this and I've got one there, I need to put one here. And again, with the adhesive dots, if they overlap, it's fine. You can roll it back on itself. So if you've got a pointer tool or anything like that, you can just roll it back over on itself. If you can actually even lift the backing off, there we go. So this one, I just need to roll this way and then this way. So there we go. So this is going to go down like this. There we go. And then we're dimensionalizing this over top. So this is going to sit like this. And this, it's double dimensional, but because I put the dimensionals underneath like this, it will squash all down flat. Like it's got some height, but it's not double dimensional. So that's our joy from our home to yours. The only thing I have left to do is decide which embellishments I want to use. Do I want to use the holographic resin ones, or do I want to use the antique pearls? And I think for this one, I'm going to use the antique pearls. They just seem a little bit more sedate, a little bit more in line with the kind of the mood of the card, and they match the tag a little bit better. So I am going to use one of these. I'm just going to pop it down here like this, and then I'm going to pop some smaller ones just around the outside a little bit, fill in some of that space. So that is our, I believe it's our third alternate card. Again, you can fill in the middle if you want a different surface to write on, but if you use a black pen or a black marker, you don't need to put a piece on the inside. But that is our finished card. So this is the third alternate card using the paper pumpkin for November 2025.